I'm going to quickly show this. This is, um, very important for learners and instructors. It's called the Bloom's Taxonomy of Learning Objectives. The Bloom's Taxonomy of Learning Objectives, and Bloom was one of the researchers very early on in learning and psychology and development, particularly of children. And here, as you see, here are 6 steps to learning. So learning to remember, learning to understand, learning to apply, learning to analyze, learning to evaluate, and learning to create. So, of course, the apex, the very top, is what we are aiming for. And many times, it is quite unfortunate that learning does not go beyond that first step of, people just try to regurgitate, try to memorize and repeat and recall. And many times they are rewarded for it within within the engineer and the education system. But that's not what we want. That's not what we deserve, particularly in an industry that is going through a lot of transition and disruption. So it's at this juncture that I'm going to yield back to Azubike to take us through his thoughts.
Firstly, most of our graduates are not employable. Why are they not employable? Because of how they are being taught and what they have been able to assimilate from what they've been taught. And initially, what even made Nigeria go into OPEC was one of what made them go into OPEC was a resolution they signed, which is that they are going to, at the point of the association, at the point to be able to help them facilitate production, self-production for themselves. So you find out that since Nigeria joined OPEC since 1971, we have not been able to self-produce what we have, self-produce our resources to at least 100%. Unlike some other countries that joined at the same time with us, you see the likes of Saudi Arabia and so on, they produce themselves, their resources. And it also helps the economy because they get to make use of their local manpower, employ people, and generate income to stabilize their economy. So for a country like Nigeria, where we depend on petroleum engineering product a lot, we need to improve the learning process of petroleum engineering to help our production sector. Okay. So these are
Yeah. So I'm afraid I'm have to hurry you along because let's go straight to the challenges. Yes.
okay.
Yes, please.
For the challenges, there are different reasons why things are not being the way we anticipated. Because let me say, when we entered into the resolution, we had in mind that probably, let's say, 10, 5, 15 years, we'll be able to self-produce our resources ourselves. But there are key things that, to my opinion, are the reasons behind these shortfalls. First, the curriculum, the faculty, the teaching faculty as a whole, and lack of funding. Firstly, our curriculum in Nigeria, to an extent, is I won't say not good, because the basic things are there, but are these basic things transcending? Is there a transition? Is it moving according to the global standard, or are we still relying on the curriculum of 10, 20 years ago? Yeah, you see things like the COVID-19 has hit the whole world. There's energy transition in place, and you ask yourself, has Nigerian curriculum changed to fit into this? You see, there are some schools outside Nigeria that you go to, and they already have set goals for the next 3-4 years. So if you're coming to apply for a master's, for a PhD, or even for an undergraduate, you have to skew your project to, let's say, carbon capture, to clean energy, to a particular aspect of petroleum engineering. But in Nigeria's curriculum, it's almost not like that. You just get to do a wishful thinking of what you feel like. Just do something hypothetical, and what you might end up doing might not be a current problem within the country. So that's actually an issue. Then the faculty. Let's talk about the lecturers. The lecturers, how prepared are they to teach, and how motivated are they to teach? How equipped are they to teach? You you find out that once a lecturer is being employed in most of our universities, they are left alone to build themselves, and that whole process of building yourself and trying to keep up to global standards and everything is actually very hectic for them if they're not getting support from the institution or from the government, or if there are no set procedures um, that is in place to help them develop themselves. So if they are not being trained, let's say by um, annually, something like that, if they are not being trained, they won't be able to keep up to the pace of other lecturers um, outside Nigeria. So funding is also a very important issue because most lecturers or in institutions in Nigeria they lack funding for critical projects, and I think the lack of funding is because there is no link. There is no link between these institutions and the industry because most funding
Yeah.
most times comes from the industry. So
Yeah. So
um,
I'm happy already talking about the link because so just I wanted to get to that triple helix. Yeah.
yes, yes. So this would lead us to triple helix. Triple helix is just like is a theory that was propounded some time ago, and it blends the government, industry, and academia together. So what the shipwreck is all about? It's a mix that will help improve the pedagogy of petroleum engineering in Nigeria. So think about it: if the government, the industry, and the academia are working hand in hand, or if there is a parastatal or something set up to bring these three persons together for a swift communication, sharing of ideas, and supporting each other. If there is a parastatal set in place to apply triple helix, you see that to an extent the petroleum engineering pedagogy would be improved. So if the academia are aware of a challenge in the industry, and the government is mandating the industry that that's their challenge has to first be attempted by Nigerian institutions or the academia before taking it outside. You will see that the the industries will now be forced, or let me know if I say forced, it's something
Yeah, maybe
see
induced. Yes.
industries will now be induced to to give grants to particular challenges that they have. Okay, so now you know that as a student, as a Nigerian student, if you're going into school, if you're going to study something like you're going to study steel, or you're going to study a particular kind of crude. Let's say you're going to you want to work on asphalting the issues that are affecting
I was waiting for corrosion as okay. I was waiting for you to mention corrosion.
or you want to talk about corrosion, like Chelsea, you already know that there's a grant for it. So you're not scared of expressing yourself to beyond your limits because you know that there's a backup plan, there's something to finance you if you want to publish, there's something to finance you if you want to get materials, there's something to finance you no matter how long the tax takes. So if this is if this blend is being put in place, you'll find out that there will be more there will be more acceptance of petroleum engineering pedagogy in Nigeria. And this will also attract foreigners to come and school in Nigeria, because why you see Nigerians, most Nigerians going outside for education is probably because they they need access to things like these grants, materials to carry out their projects, high-end lab facilities, and so on. So the triple L is actually a good theory that if applied will help the pedagogy of petroleum engineering in Nigeria. So for sustainability, John, I don't know, you're not sharing the slide.
Yes, I think I had a challenge with that device.
Okay, so let me just continue.
All right.
So for sustainability, there are different things apart from ensuring that the pedagogy is in place or is top notch. It has to be sustained. Yes, for future purpose. If Nigeria wants to self-produce like they initially had the plan to do, so if they want to self-produce, they can't be self-producing for 5-10 years and stop self-producing, then start seeking external help. So it has to be sustained. So for there to be sustainability, there are important things to consider. First, we talk about the 3Ps. The 3Ps. The 3Ps is also an initiative of patenting what you have thought of, or that's your amazing idea as a scholar, as a researcher, patenting it first before you produce it. Then after producing it, then you publish. Okay, so this is the best way of not losing a grip on that your intellectual property or that unique idea. The first patent produced
And you publish. Okay, great. So as we have spoken in 4 tranches, significance of the pedagogy, right? And he has told us that it is what we put or what we have in our institutions of learning that guarantee our ability to produce tomorrow. And now Nigeria has been doing well below the average performance of OPEC member countries. Having a OPEC quota of 1.8 million barrels and doing 1.4 million. That shows that there is a potential for improvement, to even ask for quota increase. The other thing he has spoken about after the significance around the challenges, he has said that funding critically, particularly as regards the faculty and the curriculum, that it needs to be rejigged for the 21st century. And of course, we have some things with the PTDF, tertiary education trust fund, and those things are important collaborations, which led us to the triple elite model, talking about the industry, the academia, and the government, and how the 3 of them can synthesize a way forward for the society at large. So the final talking point is now sustainability, moving forward. What works? Azubuike has advocated for a 3P, the 3P model of patent, produce, and publish, trying to talk about the commercialization of innovation,